I am on the biggest high right now, G-Timers. You'll never guess where I have been this morning. So Rodney and I met for morning coffee and he said, did I want to come back to Summer Heights High and have a little sneak around and see me old stomping ground? Oh, God. Haven't been there for bloody more than 18 months and the place hasn't bloody changed one bit. It's just like so small compared to my new school. And the buildings are just bloody atrocious compared to the architecture of Summer Boys. We're a very modern kind of school. We had a big renovation in the 90s and it's all very swish and clean. And I couldn't believe the rubbish and muck I was seeing all around Summer Heights High. Oh, God, I've forgotten what a pigsty it is. It was nerve-wracking because I didn't want some bloody orcs run in with Stuart Kim, the principal, so it was a very stealth mission, and Rodney checked the car park to make sure he wasn't in, and we snuck in when the coast was clear and had my sunnies on and just kept my head down. And I'm surprised Rodney agreed to it because he's going for that deputy job, so he's being all goody two-shoes. He still thinks he's in with a chance, which is kind of pathetic and cute at the same time. But that's Rodney for you. Oh, we saw Tracy from reception and she won't tell anyone. She gasped when she saw me and I did the shush finger over the mouth as I sidled past and I mouthed mum's the word. She's lovely. She wouldn't dob, hopefully, fingers crossed. So what else? We checked out my old drama classroom. That was quite emotional. It looks pretty much the same. Stuart hasn't even bloody replaced me, would you believe? They've got some new English teacher in, but Meredith is handling all my 7 to 9 drama. So God help the kids. There goes any chance of them ever making it in the industry, sadly. Oh, look, it was amazing to see the place. I considered vandalising the toilets with some nasty stuff about Stuart Kim, and I brought a big marker along and thought I could just write, something. Rodney said not to do it. I was going to say Stuart Kim's wife is a slut or something juvenile that would get his goat, but I bit my tongue. Wouldn't be fair on the wife, really, who I've never met and heard she's quite pleasant anyway, so... Yes, I was thinking I could go back and draw like a big up yours finger on his rear windscreen in the dust maybe, but yes, I'll pop round and do that some other time without Rodney, so... Anyway, all food for thought, but it was a great morning and fantastic, but let's get on with the episode. Welcome to Mr. G's room, G's room, G's room. Welcome to Mr. G's room, come inside. Please be quiet, year nines. And take your shoes off and find a spot on the floor. Welcome to Mr. G's room, G's room, G's room. Welcome to Mr. G's room now.
Hello, Mr. G. My question for you is, big fan, by the way. I always say coffee before we teachy. So I wanted to ask about Rodney. You two seem really close. How long have you known each other? And yeah, just wanted to know what the deal is with Rodney.
Oh, God, why am I always asked about Rodney? I'm constantly harassed about him. So, the documentary producers back then, they kept plonking him into scenes with me, I guess, so I could talk to someone. And, I mean, he was at that point pretty much the only person I ever spoke to at school, so it made sense. But honestly, the fandom around Buggerlugs baffles me. I mean, the guy's been riding on my coattails for years. He's the Bernie Taupin to my Elton John. Well, he can't even write lyrics, so he's not even that. So to answer your question, we met years ago when I first started at Summer Heights High. I did my first musical, Caramella Koala and the Bushfire, and I needed someone to handle the box office. And Rodney threw his hand up at a staff meeting, and so I gave him that duty for the show, and gradually over the years he's kind of squirmed his way in. He's a fairly rudimentary pianist, so he'll play for my rehearsals. Not anymore because he's over at North Korea. So I'm self-playing. But, so yes, he's still science teaching over at Summer Heights High, plugging away, of course. As I've mentioned last week, he claims he's going to be the deputy principal. He's going to get that role, but there's a fat chance in hell he'll get it. So he's not, how can I say this politely? He's a wallflower. He lacks confidence. The kids walk all over him and, none of the staff respect him. He's pushing 60 these days too, and he's stacked on some weight and there's some moderate hair loss. And I think the concept of him being deputy is laughable. He's probably being pressured by the ball and chain, no doubt. So, look, he was obviously devastated when I left Summer Heights High. And I just said, Rodney, move on. Like, I haven't died. And he said the school feels so empty without me, and he was at a loss in the staff room at lunch, and he'd taken to eating his sandwich in the toilet cubicle because he had no one to talk to. And I told him that's extremely unhygienic and to maybe just strike up a convo with that deaf teacher who does the signing, because no one talks to her either. And, then he reminded me that she's not actually deaf, that she just teaches 2 deaf students we have, so she knows sign language. But anyway, I must say I don't really miss him per se. It's kind of a relief in a way not having him around, if I'm honest. It's a fresh start at this new school. New me, new friends. I've kind of reinvented myself in the time that I've been here, and I was set in my ways at Summer Heights High, and every bloody recess, lunch, before school, I'd walk in and there was Rodney in our spot waiting for me, doing his man spread and eating his little snack, one of his many icks. I hope he's not listening to this podcast. Actually, of course he would be. Hello, Rodney. It's nothing I wouldn't say to your face. So, talking of his icks, where do I start? One thing I couldn't stand about him was when I'd be sitting in our spot, in our corner seat in the staff room, and I'd be telling him some interesting story, and I'd feel his knee against mine, just because, he was manspreading so much. How far can a man spread? I'd say, get your dirty knee off me. I don't know how well your wife's washed those pants. Cross your legs like me. Every bloody day this would happen. Drove me crazy. And also, he claims that he might have stiff person syndrome, the medical condition, because he's very stiff in his movements. He's not as fluid as me. And I have a dance background, so I'm very, moving around all the time like that. But with Rodney, it's, if you call out to him from the staff kitchen, when he turns, he has to turn his whole body. He can't just turn the neck, which could be why he doesn't like crossing his legs. I don't know, maybe it hurts. I'm not a GP, but he should get tested. What else? Oh, one thing Rodney always says to me, he goes, Greg, you love the sound of your own voice. And I say, no, buggerlugs, I'm just the only one of the two of us with anything interesting to say. The guy's more boring than paint drying. I'm not sure what the wife sees in him. But I guess he wasn't bad looking as a young bloke. He's back in the Stone Age. He brought in some photos once of him in the 80s windsurfing in Speedos. Shoved them in front of my face, and he had the moustache back then too. And he wasn't model good looking like me at that age, but, he could have modelled for a Best and Less or something, I suppose, if they wanted a moustached man in Speedos windsurfing. I don't know. Another thing, Rodney is the most gullible person I've ever met. Some of the stuff he's fallen for, I'm always dropping in little lies to keep things interesting. Only a couple of weeks ago I did a good one. I told him that lesbian was becoming its own official language and that only lesbians are allowed to speak it. And it was a government decision, and you'd get fined if you were a non-lesbian and you tried to speak it. And it was considered extremely offensive to utter anything in lesbianese, and he believed it for months. He was gobsmacked that it was happening, and yes, he eventually told his wife, and she Googled it and worked out that it was one of Greg's lies. But, with someone as boring as Rodney around, you got to spice things up somehow. today's masterclass in drama is we're going to dig deep and tap into our emotional depths in a class that I call Extreme Emotion in Acting. Now, naturally, I have a very stiff upper lip. I'm an unemotional kind of guy. I always hold it together and never fly off the handle. Not just crying, I'm rarely angry and sad I'm hardly ever happy, let's face it. Rodney calls me C-3PO from Star Wars because he says I'm like a robot with my emotions. But yes, I'm not a crier. I've always been very blasé about sad things, and we had a memorial service in the staff room a few years ago for an old history teacher, Leon, and I found myself stifling a smirk through the whole service. I just didn't find it sad. I couldn't stand the guy. I caught him once sniffing my chai tea leaves with his dirty nostrils all over the packet. And I'm not a grudge holder, but I've never forgiven him. But look, the reason I'm saying this is acting emotional on stage or screen is a skill that you can learn, but it takes years of work. And I have trained and I've trained, and I've studied the greats, your Streep, your Blanchett, your Dench, all the big names who can cry on command. A director will yell cry and they just start crying, and they can suck you into the emotion of the scene. And I also have that ability. I can just do it at the drop of a hat. So yes, so now like most of my drama classes, I find demonstration is the best form of teaching. So the do it like me method. So let's set up a scenario here where I can demonstrate extreme emotion in acting. I'm an 8-year-old girl who's built a snowman with a carrot nose and a scarf and gravel for eyes and a smile. And she's called him Tony. And she's spent the day at school and she can't stop thinking about her snowman. She's so excited to see Tony, and Mum's picked her up and brought her home from school, and it's been a hot day. And the snowman has melted and all that's left is a carrot and a scarf and some gravel in a puddle. So I'll be the 8-year-old girl, as I say, coming home, and action. Oh, Mummy, I'm so happy to be home. I can't wait to see Tony. Let's go out into the backyard, Mummy, and see Tony the snowman. Come on, Mum. Oh, I've never been so happy in my life. She runs to the back door. She opens the door and she sees the wet pile of where Tony once stood, and her expression changes. And suddenly we go into the emotion. Tony, where are you? Mummy, what's happened? Oh, Jesus Christ, Mum. The mother says, look, the snowman's melted. Oh, Mummy, oh, God, I'm so sad. I bloody loved that snowman. Oh, for God's sake, Mummy. All that's left of Tony is a carrot and a scarf and some gravel. Oh, Mummy, he was my bloody best friend. I wanted to marry that friggin' snowman. I'm never going to be the same 8-year-old girl again. Oh, fuck. It's your friggin' fault, Mum. You should never have sent me to school today. I'm going to destroy your life, Mum. Your life is going to be hell now that you've let that happen to my snowman. And the girl throws the carrot into the mum's face and she storms off, and cut. Okay, so that was just an example of how I can instantly draw on extreme emotion. And I'm screwing up the face and really getting into it. And one of my many tricks, and this one I learned from Judi Dench, she said it in an interview, is that at the moment of extreme emotion, you bite your tongue fairly severely. That's why you would have heard a little pause there before I spoke. Almost drawing blood sometimes. And if you do bleed out the mouth, it can be a good look too on screen. Anyway, let's just do one more scene. Let's go for something more severe so you can hear me really let loose. I do these demos in the classroom sometimes, and it can cause some alarm to anyone in an adjoining classroom, or nearby. One time I had the cleaner called an ambulance because she thought a student had been injured, but really it was just me acting one of my scenes of being chopped in half after throwing myself in front of a train and screaming like a banshee from my remaining top half. But anyway, so along those lines, this scene we're going to do now, it's one that I filmed at home for my show reel, so I'm very familiar with this one. So I'll try and recreate it for you guys. It's an elderly woman who's trapped in her room when a fire breaks out and she can't get out. And she's caught on fire, and it's extremely emotional as she burns. I'll just get into it. And action. Ah, the bloody flames are engulfing me! Oh no! Where's my daughter? Where's Susan? Susan, I'm on fire! Oh Christ almighty, I'm burning alive! We'll fast forward, that was the start of it. We'll go to the end here, because on my show reel I do this whole scene, it goes on for 5 to 6 minutes, and it's, but we'll just fast forward because it gets quite graphic, of course, for the podcast. I don't want to get, So right at the end, the emergency services break down the door, and the daughter Susan runs in to find the mother is just a skeleton, and she can still talk and she's got some final emotional words to say. And action.
Oh, Susan, you're too late. But before I go, one last thing I need to tell you. Your father had his way with the dog once.
And she dies, and that's the end. And cut. Okay, so that's something you guys can try at home. But I would let the neighbours know if you're going to really scream and emote in an annoyingly audible way. My neighbours at home are well aware that I could scream at any moment. But that's the life of an actor, isn't it? Okay. Okay, that's it for this week, G Times. Wait a second, I've just got a bloody Buggerlugs is texting me. I just told Rodney I was recording. Oh, you are bloody kidding me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, talk about extreme emotion. This is real emotion. You will not believe this, G Times. I am gagged. Oh, I'm literally dumbstruck. Rodney says in his text, I've been offered the deputy principal role. I'm over the moon. Would you be interested in dinner and a beer tonight to celebrate with me? Oh, well, Christ on a bike. Did not see that coming. Oh, maybe he means he's just filling in before they find someone decent. No, he says, I've been offered the deputy role. No, it sounds like he's actually got it. Oh, God, did he threaten Stuart Kim with something? I just can't see it. The guy's got no respect from the students. No nicknames or playground banter with the kids. My God, he's a bloody wallflower in the staff room. And as for a beer tonight, since when do we drink beers? Or go out? I'm far too busy for that crap. I'm not even going to reply. I'm just going to ghost him and let him sweat. He's going to be all up himself now too, Mr. Deputy. Well, that's ruined my day, G-Timers. Hope you enjoyed that episode anyway. And, yeah. God, I got to go process that. So join me next week, guys, for another Drama Masterclass and some more Some Heights High goss. I'm going to tell you all about Celine next week. So see you then, my little G-Timers. This season of Mr. G's Room is presented by Helen Gregson. Helen Gregson appears courtesy of Twos and Fourth Management. This podcast is recorded and produced by Helen Gregson in Sydney, Australia. All songs written and produced by Helen Gregson. Audio recording by Helen Gregson. Post-production by Helen Gregson. Set design by Helen Gregson. Videography by Helen Gregson. Wardrobe by Helen Gregson. Graphic design by Helen Gregson. Special thanks to Craig from Pear for cleaning out the storeroom and Rodney Parsons from Summer Heights High for the on-air sign. The views, thoughts and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of Helen Gregson, and let's face it, is Summer Heights High NDA is probably expired now, so go have a cry. Any resemblance to stories and people's deceased or alive is not Helen Gregson's fault, it's simply telling it like it is. For updates, follow the Mr. G's Room Facebook page. This is Helen Gregson Productions. See you next week, everyone, and remember, it's G-time, not free time.
Take your shoes off and find a spot on the floor. Welcome to Mr. G's Room, G's Room, G's Room. Welcome to Mr. G's Room now.